For the moment, this other formula, the stop time, I know you will understand this because of your feeling about ground zero. Map making, blanking history, soul cooking, learning in unlearning, in learning endlessly, all in the interest of something that we are obliged to call democracy, that demands that all Muslims be considered equal, not just the good ones, that all gendered bodies are considered equal, not just women. All races must be considered equal, not just your own or your own former colonies. And class must be learned to unlearn. How to do such a hard thing? Then the strict divide between academies of learning and unlearning must be actively and ceaselessly undone. See, in Europe, in the last few months, I was asked in Berlin, in Utrecht, and now here, not to talk like an academic. I'm an academic. I value the possibility of what one can do if one undoes some of the incredible constraints within which the corporatized academies of the world are suffering and making others suffer, and you are within that problem. As I said, you are constituted as a corporation. So to an extent, in order to answer that question, a very difficult question, that to be equal is not to be the same. I can't do it, but I can tell you something about it. But for that, one has to undo the strict divide between academies of learning and unlearning, actively and ceaselessly. And as a paid teacher, your servant, I will then welcome you into my classroom, just as Wittgenstein, whom after all you all know, said, you cannot learn how to play the piano with one lesson. We've seen all of those one-lesson teach-ins and be-ins and this-ins and that-ins. I started teaching in the US in 1965 as a tenure-track assistant professor. So all that US idea of consciousness raising by just not doing homework is a very fine idea of how to do instant soup in terms of your own interests and a belief that you can make change easily. So to an extent, if one really wants to learn the answer to that question, then welcome to my classroom. Thank you. Okay, now the floor is yours. It's hard, isn't it, to ask the first question, because I often do, in order, not because I have anything to ask, but in order to make other, good, just ask me anything. Stand up, so that other people can. Go ahead.
After all the other questions to you in person, that's my question. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, you ask, and maybe someone else then will ask, and I'll take 3, and we'll move. Ask.
Who
are you, first of all? What do you do?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm a high school teacher. Many of the topics that you have been talking about interest me a lot, because I find that the level of teaching is falling enormously. Like, I'm not sure if my students know what a metaphor is anymore, to be honest, yeah.
But you do.
Of course.
I'm not sure I do, but carry on.
Of course.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.